Okay, I think we're live this afternoon. My name's Jack Burney. I'm going to be running this afternoon's webinar, and I might wait just a couple of minutes, or at least a minute or two, while people come into the webinar. I'm sure that there are still a few more to join us. While we wait for them to join, I'll just quickly introduce myself. So my name's Jack. I work as an account executive here at Grunt. To give you a bit of a background as to Grunt as a company, we founded in 2016. We're a Norwegian software company. We produce a PowerPoint add-in, which is used globally, primarily by consulting firms, investment banks, financial institutions, but basically by anyone that's using PowerPoint heavily. So if you're a PowerPoint user, and you're interested in sort of boosting your productivity, boosting the design in PowerPoint, overall getting better at PowerPoint for you or for your team, then this is definitely the right webinar for you. Today, I'm going to be running you through a few things. I won't go through the agenda just yet, just while I wait maybe another 30 seconds to ensure that we've got everyone in here that signed up for the webinar. But while I wait just a couple of moments, sorry, I've got you on two screens, which is why I'm looking down just to check the chat and to see who's joined the webinar. I can see that we've got another person joined, Lace. Nice to see you this afternoon. Before we get kicked off, and I think it'd also be good just to let you guys know that you can drop me a message. You can either send me a private message or a public message in the chat. So the webinar itself will have a chat feature that you can use. So if you've got a question, drop it in there. If it's a public message, everyone will see it. I'll try to answer as many questions as I can. I'm not sure how many we'll get today anyway, but drop it in the chat. If it's relevant to what I'm talking about, then I'll try and jump on it straight away and answer it. Otherwise, I'll wait to the end and we can sort of do a bit of a Q&A together at the end of the session. But I think we've waited long enough. Let's get started. We'll keep today reasonably short and sharp. So I'm going to just move this into a bit of a better view for everyone. Actually, we'll just leave it like this. Okay, cool. So who are we? So I gave you a bit of a rundown. What we do is PowerPoint add-ins, or a PowerPoint add-in that's designed to boost productivity and designed to make your PowerPoints look better. Where we're coming from is sort of a position of being industry experts. So all of us in some capacity have been heavy PowerPoint users at some point in our careers. A lot of us, or most of us, in fact, come from consulting background, finance background, people that have used a lot of PowerPoint, but also tested other add-ins that are on the market. So we have a really clear understanding of what has in the past at least been available to people that are heavy PowerPoint users. And that really influenced the sort of decision to create our own add-in. Was that what we found was that PowerPoint add-ins on the market didn't really offer what we wanted and weren't as reliable as what we wanted to see out of PowerPoint sort of productivity enhancers. So that was sort of the vision, or the spark for starting Grunt. And that sort of led us to the point now where it's 2023. We have thousands of different clients all across the globe using Grunt. And we're sort of still using our expertise and knowledge from our previous careers, but also taking on all of the information and feedback that we get from our current clients who are still very much in the thick of it from a PowerPoint usage perspective. What we specialize in, or some of the things that we specialize in, are data visualization. So really helping you to take data, visualize it in a really appealing way, and helping you to sort of extrapolate some of those insights from the data, making it easy for your audience to understand, exactly what those insights are. And then on top of that, we want you to do it in an efficient way. So automation is a really big part of what we do, helping you to get that data, visualize it, and then make the process really simple for you, simple for your colleagues, simple for anyone that's trying to look at that data or access the PowerPoint, use it. And that's going to be sort of one of the focuses today, is sort of on the automation side of things, specifically formatting. I'll get into that in a little bit more detail once we've run through these sort of introduction slides and I've given you a bit of a rundown of who we are and what we do. The final thing that I wanted to touch on was just our expertise in Microsoft Office. So we want to utilize or piggyback on what Microsoft is already doing from a collaboration perspective to make it really easy for you and your team members to be able to design, collaborate, reuse, and basically get the most out of your PowerPoint experience. So we take what some of the good work that Microsoft's already done and bring that into Grunt. And just on the left-hand side here, if you haven't already had a look, these are some of some of my colleagues, some of the people that I work with, who are founders and leaders of the company. Just to give you a quick recap, and one thing that I will mention is that we can share these slides with you after this demo. So if there's anything that you saw that you wanted to have another look at, or I ran through too quickly, that's fine. You can get access to these afterwards. But this is just a quick rundown of sort of some of the main things that we're looking at from a feature perspective. So connecting slides directly to data, helping you reuse designs through templates, applying automatic formatting rules, which is our focus for today's webinar, automating tedious tasks, transforming content into rich visualizations, and guaranteeing consistency. So our two main focuses today are going to be on applying the automatic formatting of rules. I won't go too deep into the rule side of things, but basically allowing you to automate your formatting in your PowerPoint. One of the biggest bits of feedback that we get from our clients is they spend a lot of time and a lot of energy on formatting. So that can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. But really, it's sort of the manual task of going in, changing numbers, changing colors, making sure that your deck has consistent fonts, consistent coloring, based on your primary and secondary corporate branding, making sure that everything looks good and consistent and matches, what it should match, compared to sort of the data or insights that you have outside of PowerPoint. So that'll be a big focus of ours today. And then also guaranteeing consistency. So, again, speaking to that sort of standardization, consistency, and also eliminating having to do the manual task in the first place, but then also eliminating having to redo that work. Or not so much redo, but QA check. So quality check everything that you've done. And this is what keeps a lot of our clients up at night is, 2 a.m., 3 a.m. consultants, particularly young consultants, at the beginning of their career, up late at night, frantically trying to make sure that, what's in the PowerPoint matches what's in their Excel, that all of the colors are right, that everything is perfectly aligned and matched. So that's, we've been there, and we want to try and make sure that, those younger consultants, their quality of life is improved, and that for the people who are maybe more senior at the company, whether it's a consultancy or a financial organization, or maybe just an organization that uses a lot of PowerPoint, the people sort of further up the corporate ladder, so to speak, don't have to worry so much about, are my colleagues okay, and also are they getting it right? Can I be confident that when I go into that meeting tomorrow, that the numbers are going to be right, that the colors are going to be right? These are the sorts of things that people, when you're in those meeting rooms, pick up on very quickly. And we at Grunt understand that. We've all made that mistake where we go into a client meeting and we notice a number's off, or even worse, the client notices straight away that a number's off. We want to try and create or guarantee that everything's right within the within the PowerPoint, so that you as a partner, for example, don't have to double check that to ensure that that everything is good to go. So moving on to the next slide, and I promise I will get started on actually showing you things in just a moment. But this demo is really designed for people who are maybe on the more sort of novice side of the spectrum. I would say that, certainly this intro has given you a bit of a broad look at what Grunt does. So it is sort of pitched at people who are new, but we're going to be looking at some formatting tools that are, used by our existing clients, maybe sort of venturing into the more intermediate territory as well. Although I'm going to try and slow down my speech and explain things nice and slowly so that you can understand everything that we go through. Okay, so having a look here, charts and tables. So that's going to be sort of be the focus of the formatting side of things. I'll just move on quickly from this slide. The first thing that I think is worth drawing your attention to is where things live in PowerPoint when you're using Grunt. So where is Grunt when you're in PowerPoint? And the answer to that is it lives in your home ribbon at the top. So I've got an example of that here in this image showing you where it lives, and you can also see it on my screen here. So next to home or between home and insert, you've got a Grunt tab in the ribbon, and when I click on it, it gives me a few different options. Just to go back down to the image here, sorry to draw your attention up and down, but you've got the option, and I'll just click on it, to insert new objects. So this will allow you to insert Grunt specific items. So templates, visual grids and charts, main focus of ours today with the formatting. There's also Gantt and agenda, which we won't look at so much. If you are interested in those things, there will be information after this demonstration so that you can contact us via email or even give us a call so that we can set up some time to have a chat with you about anything else that you're interested in. Next to insert new objects is manage data connections. So from here, we can manage the data that is linked to our PowerPoint. I won't go into too much detail about this either today, but a really cool thing is that you can automate the flow of data from your Excel into your PowerPoint, which we can then, using that automated flow of data from Excel into PowerPoint can influence the automated formatting that we have in the PowerPoint. So they're quite linked to what we're talking about today and the Excel connection. But there are some really cool things that you can do with that. Efficiency tools. These are efficiency tools, productivity tools, basically tools to help you manipulate and move things around the slide quickly, easily, help with things like layering, help with things like stacking, aligning, swapping, those kinds of things. So these are used pretty much every day by our clients just to make life in PowerPoint a little bit easier. And then we've got a few more things. I won't go into all of it, but the training videos and support resources is a really cool, really interesting section for you to check out if you are a current Grunt user. If you're a current Grunt user, please have a look at this. It has a whole host of information, including short form videos to teach you how to do some of the things that we'll look at today and plenty more. The knowledge base, which will give you written instructions on how to do everything in Grunt. There's also release notes, so what's new, show you what's coming, what we've just released, so bug fixes, improvements to features or new features. You've also got submit feedback. This is where you can give us your opinion on what you like or what you don't like about Grunt, or maybe what you want to see. And then contact support. This one's awesome for our existing customers that are on this call, and for those of you that are not yet using Grunt. Grunt actually provides an in-app support chat. This means that if you've got any questions about anything related to Grunt or anything related to PowerPoint, you can drop us a message in here to ask us anything and we'll respond. Our support team is made up of some of our most senior people at the company, very experienced with PowerPoint and obviously with Grunt as well. So really encourage you to rely on that if you want help. It's like having a professional PowerPoint consultant on hand at pretty much any time. Although if you contact us outside of work hours, I can't guarantee you'll get an immediate response, but nice to know it's there. Okay, let's have a look at some formatting. So it was a very long preamble, but what I want to show you today is how you can automate some of the formatting that you have in your PowerPoints. I'm just going to quickly open up the chat here, just make sure that I don't have any messages yet. I can't imagine that there were. Okay, so formatting for charts. So I actually have something already set up here, and that is formatting for different elements of my chart. So this is a combined chart that I've got here. I've got current years in sort of a solid fill color. And then you'll notice on the right-hand side of the chart, I've got 2022 expected and 2023 expected. What this means with the rule that I have set up, or the formatting that I have set up, is that when I have data that's coming from my Excel into my PowerPoint, if it's an expected year, Grunt will actually automatically update the coloring on my chart. So instead of a solid fill, I will get this sort of striped fill to show that it's a forecasted year. Now, this might seem like a really small detail, but again, one of the things that we hear about constantly from our clients is, hey, I spend so much time in PowerPoint. I know how to do the data side of things. I'm a whiz in Excel, but when I go into PowerPoint, I'm spending so much time jumping between Excel and PowerPoint, trying to get everything to look right. The data side of things, yeah, I can get that cleaned up in Excel, but making it look right in PowerPoint and making it consistently right and not having to double check things a million times is sort of the bane of my existence. So what we're trying to do is automate that. And one of the ways that we do that is by allowing you to, for example, tell Grunt to pick up on forecasted years so that when it visualizes those forecasted years, it visualizes it in a way that is consistent, it's guaranteed, and it shows you exactly what you want on the slide and in the chart. So to show you how we do that, or how I've done it with Grunt, is if I click on the chart, which I've done now, on the right-hand side here, you'll see a toolbar appear. And this toolbar has several different options that I can choose from. I won't go through all of them because we only have a limited amount of time here today. But the one that's most important is I've instructed Grunt to style my chart with like a forecasted graphic. So you'll see that it's included in the chart, and I've used match text. So it's actually quite similar to Excel. If you're used to using Excel, then you'll be very familiar with some of these formatting rules that we have in Grunt. I will say that in hindsight, this is probably more on the advanced side of things from like an automation of formatting, but it is one of the most powerful ways that you can automate formatting, and it's one that constantly comes up. I probably should have put this towards the back, so we're kind of jumping in the deep end here in terms of like how you can automate your formatting. But why not? I don't think it's too difficult to do. Essentially, what I told Grunt to do is to match text, and I match the text to anything that contains the search term E. Now, in simple terms, what this means is that if I put an E next to a number in my Excel, for example, 2023 E, Grunt picks up on that, and it will automatically change the color of my chart to a forecasted fill. So instead of a solid fill, I get the striped fill for forecasted. And this is something that for a lot of our clients saves a hell of a lot of time because it means that they don't have to manually remake a chart or manually go in and make those changes. And if you think about the fact that you might be setting up a report or a one-off presentation where there are maybe 10, 15, 20, in some of our clients' cases, they've got like 100 slides with 100 different charts on it. They have to do that 100 times or even 10 times, which is a huge sort of waste of time in our opinion, which is why we've created some features like this for you. So in practice, what does it look like? How does it work? So let's have a look together. I'll just open up my Excel here. Hopefully everyone can see this. My first time using this webinar software, so I think I've got maybe I don't actually have the whole screen shared. I think maybe I've only got the presentation shared. So bear with me a second and I'm just going to, yeah, can't see it. One sec, entire screen. There we go. Thomas, do you mind just confirming for me that you can see that now? Or anyone else? Yeah, perfect. Cool. So got the Excel open. Now what I'm going to do is just go to the range of information that we had for the chart that I was showing you. So if you can see here now, I've got the Excel open, and this is the information that we have for our chart. Grunt has a lot of cool tools that will allow you to sort of dynamically expand what I have in a chart, and we might actually have a look at that now, because I think that's a nice feature to have a look at while we look at this automation of formatting. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy some data here, and I'm just cheating this up because I want to do it quickly for you. What I'm doing is I'm creating a new column for 2024 expected. So this is also going to be a forecasted year. And we're going to forecast a nice bump. Let's go 650. There we go. So all I've done is add a new column to our data here. And I've made sure that in the year that I've added an E next to it, because this is our match tech. This is how Grunt is picking up that needs to provide a forecast fill for our chart, is through this E that I've added here for expected, and that creates the forecast fill. So I'm going to now save my Excel, and I'm going to go back into my PowerPoint, and I'm now going to show you another feature, which is definitely not on the novice end of things. So yeah, definitely more on the intermediate side of things today, intermediate to advanced, but I think this is cool stuff to show you guys anyway. If I open up my Excel connection tab here, so just to show you how I did that, clicked on my chart, it opened up the toolbar on the right, and then I can select this green Excel workbook, which is to manage my data connections. And I've opened that up, and I'm just going to move it over here for you. Now, I can check my data to see if there's any new information in here. When I check, it's going to ask if I want to update, and I can do that now. And that is because I have a rule in called greedy columns. So what greedy columns does is it takes the last filled row or column, depending on what I have turned on, and it drags the new data in. And I actually didn't realize that I already had it turned on, so I wasn't expecting it to pull the new data in straight away. I thought I was going to have to turn it on for you, but I've got it turned on. It's a preset that I always have turned on because I like to be able to add new information to my Excel and have Grunt automatically pull that in. I don't want to have to do that manually. Certainly if you're using native PowerPoint, or if you're using maybe another add-in, typically to do this, you would actually need to recreate the chart, which is a massive pain, or you would have to manually copy and paste data across directly into the PowerPoint. Also a pain, time consuming, and creates inconsistencies and can lead to error. With this turned on, Grunt automates that for you. Now, the other cool thing is that, as you can see, Grunt has automatically made this 2024 an expected year, and it's given us that forecasted formatting for our column. And I can see here, Martin has a question which is related to what I'm talking about. So I might just quickly pause and answer this. Martin, do you have other presets for displaying budget values or low probability scenarios? That is a great question, Martin. So if I open up my chart style for forecast here, there are a number of different chart styles that I can choose, but just to sort of show you some of the other options that you've got. In the appearance section, I have forecast selected. However, I can select, for example, budget. And if I select budget, you'll see that it changes the fill. Now, there are sort of some other options and ways that you can play around with this. I'm sort of already realized that I'm running out of time, so I won't show you them now. But yeah, there are other options that you can sort of choose from in terms of designing the chart and automating that design. And that's the really critical thing that we want to kind of get across here is automation. Now, I'm realized that we're low on time, so I'm going to run through a couple more things. I wanted to quickly show you a waterfall. One of the sort of things that people struggle with waterfalls is setting up the data. But if the other sort of major thing is that when they've got plus and minus numbers, they have to manually change them. You know, as the waterfall might change, they might get new data from the client, or they might be doing the next week's forecast or the next week's or the next sort of quarterly report, depending on what you're using PowerPoint for. And then they have to make manual changes. What Grunt does is you can instruct it to always provide the same fill for negative or positive values. And then when I update my, my Excel here, which I'll just do quickly, I might just pick one just to highlight. So I've just changed our cash flow from operations to 5 from -5. I'm going to save that, come back into my PowerPoint, and I'm going to update, and you'll see that this cash flow from operations, which was gray, so I've instructed Grunt to make all negative numbers gray and all positive numbers this color. When I update, you'll see that Grunt will automatically update the coloring within my waterfall. And again, like I said, you can do this for an entire report. If you've got 50 slides with 50 different charts and tables across it, you can instruct Grunt to automatically and repeatably and in a guaranteed way update those numbers from like a formatting perspective, from a color design perspective, so that you don't have to manually go in and do that. And this happens all the time. Clients send you new data, you got to update everything. That means you got to go in and make all of those updates individually, manually, and it's super tedious. So stop doing that. If you're doing that at the moment, you should be doing it this way. Okay, so got a question from Thomas. It's related to what we're talking about, and we've got a few minutes left, so I think we'll answer this question now. Some of the differences between Grunt and other charting and data visualization tools on the market. So ThinkCell and Upslide. It's a great question. So, I mean, without going into a huge amount of detail regarding ThinkCell, our team had previously been heavy ThinkCell users. In fact, anyone that is really into PowerPoint, spends a lot of time in PowerPoint, has probably come across ThinkCell at some point in time. ThinkCell was sort of the gold standard for a long time, but our team, having been heavy ThinkCell users and heavy PowerPoint users, realized that there were some things that ThinkCell wasn't doing that we really wanted to see from a PowerPoint add-in. Some of those things included a live Excel data connection. What this means is, so some of the things that I showed you today, so for example, going into my Excel, making a change to a number here. This is probably going to make my waterfall chart look kind of weird, but just to show you, being able to come into PowerPoint and check my data, see that the data is up to date, see that there's new data available, and then immediately pull that new data in is something that wasn't available on the market, at least not available in a way that was consistent. So this is sort of a big difference in workflow for our clients. Being able to check all of their data simultaneously through the Data Connections tab, see what's up to date, see what's out of date, and then update it all instantaneously. That's a game changer and a big change to the way that people work, between Excel and PowerPoint. Now, the other major thing is what we've been talking about regarding automation of formatting, being able to tell Grunt to do a certain design or a certain piece of formatting in a repeatable way and in a way that where it's instructed so that even if there are, for example, with the plus and minus figures, to use a really basic example, if there's a minus figure, it should look like this. If there's a plus figure, it should look like this, and then have that basically done by our software, so that a human being doesn't have to do that manual work, which is the kind of work that takes you away from drawing insights out of the data and actually creating things that are more creative rather than just the kind of tedious formatting side of things. And that's why the product's called Grunt. It's doing the hard work, the dirty work for you. So yeah, I would say that that's a big point of difference from ThinkCell. And then Upslide. Upslide, is a product that, that again, I mean, in terms of the workflow between Excel and PowerPoint, Grunt has that live connection. It also has the overview of everything. This is something that, that no other product on the market has. So that would sort of be the main differentiator. And to be honest, is, you know, for heavy PowerPoint users, is like that's the kind of gold, is being able to automate those tedious tasks and be able to have clear overview over data from Excel into PowerPoint and be able to instantaneously update it. But anyway, I've rambled enough. We're already a minute over time. Does anyone have any other questions? Any questions related to anything that I've shown you? Maybe there are some things that you sort of, you know, we sort of briefly touched on that you want to know a bit more about. I'll wait maybe 10 seconds for anyone to drop anything else into the chat. If not, I'll wrap things up. And before I sign off, I'm just going to take you through a couple of ways in which you can get in touch with us if you're interested. Yeah, I think what I'll do is we'll move on. And this is how you can get in touch with us, or one of the ways at least. So send us an email, sales@grunt.pro. Myself or one of my colleagues will be able to pick that email up and we can have a chat. Look, it could be about anything, even if you're not necessarily ready to buy Grunt. Maybe you've just got some questions. Maybe you're an existing customer and you've got some questions. Like I said, you can use the support chat, or you can just get in touch with us via email, and we can answer those questions for you. We also run the public demo every Wednesday. However, we will be taking a break over July. So we'll be taking summer holidays. So for those of you that are also taking a break in July, you won't miss anything. If you're not taking a break in July, we'll be back August 9th. And we run them at the same time, which is 1400 CET. And they're run by the team that's up on the screen now, myself included. Finally, or one of the final things that I wanted to touch on was Grunt is getting Mac. So that is something to look forward to. If you're a Mac user, you can expect to have access to or be able to purchase a license for Grunt very, very soon. Otherwise, I really thank you guys for joining me on the call today. Really encourage you to ask any questions, whether you're an existing user or a person that's interested in Grunt and maybe wants to use it for the first time. Reach out to us, and yeah, otherwise have a great summer. We'll see you here again on the, when was it? 9th of August, I think. Let's check. Yeah, 9th of August. All right. Thanks, everyone. Speak soon. Bye.